It's a very special day today as we welcome all environmental enthusiasts to the Centennial Cup.
And what a day it is. The audience has come in numbers we could only have dreamt of just a few years ago.
Well, they probably expect an exciting race with everything from mistakes and pure luck to smart and well-prepared strategies.
Our competitors consist of a wide range of businesses, and in this race, they all drive under the same set of rules. All the drivers should be able to do well today.
But as the years pass, more rules are added and the competitors' resources become scarce. This could be of utmost importance.
Ah, yes, definitely, and the rules are something we surely will return to later on in this race.
And they're off! Straight into the 20th century. A time of great inventions and entrepreneurial spirit. Everything is possible and up for grabs.
But the 20th century is not only full steam ahead, at least after this part of the automotive business, it's steaming but not really moving.
It hasn't even crossed the line.
Their choice of electrical power was simply way too early. The cheap gasoline engine seemed like a better choice at the time, but more drivers are having problems here.
2 crashes so early on in the race. It's unfortunate, but this is the reality, ladies and gentlemen.
The 50s are closing in, and this part of the race offers even more
They
challenges.
are facing tougher conditions indeed, and already there, some of the drivers misjudged the course and paid the consequences. What a spectacular
The
crash.
reality is now very different since we've exploited our resources during the whole 20th century. And by that we mean literally everything around us. Forests, raw materials, and clean water. Even our own living space is in short supply.
Forest, chemistry and energy miraculously escaped that incident, and we see a decimated field drive through the 50s. But what in God's name are they doing now? It seems as if they're looking for a new, cleaner and smarter track ahead.
Well, we wish, but they are actually looking for new ways to increase profit on their product. What we see is just another efficiency trend.
That forest company seems to have forgotten about their regrowth. That put a stop to them.
There we have a chemistry company that believed plutonium-based cosmetics was the future. That's a dead end for them too.
The 50s certainly offered some challenges for our contestants. Do you have any good advice for them as we head into the 80s?
The 80s is a part of the track filled with environmental reports. This creates an environmental awareness, but also a stricter set of rules for our contestants. We can see the track narrowing down and tightening the field for each and every year.
And it happens again! The grocery company failed to keep track of their E-numbers and completely lost sight of the road. Bang! Straight into the wall.
They never learn, do they? Despite all the science reports, we still see contestants that act before they think. It really is time to plan your driving. The rules are becoming stricter, and the consumers are becoming more and more aware. As a producer, it's not enough to rest on your laurels.
And keep in mind that the regulation of the 80s are nothing compared to what lies ahead.
You're absolutely right. There are massive changes to come.
Except for the other contestants, there is a lone driver at the back of the field. He has kept a very low profile for some time now.
A cautious driver, not a threat to the rest of the field?
Yes, well, maybe he's an interesting chap. Maybe there's an ace or two up his sleeve.
There's definitely something. We'll have to keep an eye on.
Well, here we are, chatting away as automotive, textile and energy hit the wall. Close call. Chemistry manages to shift lane. What a manoeuvre. But is it skill or just plain luck that chemistry manages to drive away from that cloud of smoke?
The car manufacturer opted for big, thirsty engines, then stuck his head in the sand and refused to see the greenhouse effect. The textile company manufactured clothes containing mercury. I'd like to see the genius behind that decision.
And the energy company put all their eggs in one basket and stuck his head in the sand as well, refusing to acknowledge the greenhouse effect. And as we move on, the field is in complete chaos as the 6 remaining competitors enters the last part of the race, the somewhat ominous future.
The entire field seems to hesitate as the track narrows down even more. And no wonder. The future means big limitations in resources, and it's harder to navigate than ever before. Legislation becomes very strict, and so does consumer demands. As a result, the companies can't just drive along as they did before.
But all the drivers are not soaring off the branch they're sitting on.
No, chemistry jumped off that branch in time and chose to think smart and think new. They developed chemicals that adapted to nature's circulation.
Yes, and finally, someone is showing those aces up their sleeve. It's our good old cautious driver that moves ahead of a confused field and into the lead.
It's actually pretty obvious now as we see it. Here's a driver that took the rules seriously all along, analyzed them and the track, so that he knew when to speed and when to hit the brakes.
What a marvellous driver! He really sets an example in just the right time. We now see the 5 other contestants follow his lead, for they have realised that the secret to future success lies in his trail.
We actually see smart ways of acting, something we haven't seen in 100 years. This is what I call driving with insight, tolerance, and respect.
Now the whole field is concerned about the group and the goal, rather than just their own profit margin.
Yes, and that's because if the whole field continues this new, smart driving, the track will actually become wider again. We can look forward to a regrowth of the resources we have exploited over the last 100 years.
The drivers still in the race, that have kept themselves on track, are
the chemical company that early on understood the value of alternative pesticides and recyclable chemicals. They also came up with good alternative to flame retardant before legislation demanded it.
Here's also the automotive company that developed alternative fuels, electric and hybrid cars, and small light compositive vehicles. They also took part in developing new initiatives such as car leasing and carpool.
The energy industry is also here because they focused on renewable energy sources, such as solar, hydrogen, wind, as well as wave energy.
The forest industry is still here since they saw the true value of the green gold, saved energy and used waste products from the process for energy production, together with the energy industry.
And finally, we have the grocery business that continually opted for ecological and locally produced groceries. If they hadn't, the consumers would have abandoned them long ago.
Interesting recap, mate. We definitely see the will to change here, and we must support the will for the future. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.